When you've spent a few dollars on a budget Al-Anon streamer, only to discover that the audio cuts out mid-episode or the video feed lags, the regret can feel almost as bad as the money you wasted. That's why I'm taking a moment to talk about a product that's trying to be the smarter alternative, the Rode RODECaster Videos. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The big question is whether this console actually saves you from the cheap gear nightmare or just adds another layer of complexity. I've spent the last few weeks setting up a small home studio, swapping out a handful of separate mixers, capture cards, and USB microphones for a single piece of hardware. The hesitation most people feel when they see a price tag like this is natural. Are you really getting everything you need, or will you end up buying add-ons anyway? In my case, the real test was whether the RODECaster Videos could handle a typical day of content creation, a quick interview with a guest, a solo tutorial, and a live stream to both YouTube and Facebook, all without having to juggle 3 different boxes on the desk. First, let's talk about the category itself. If you've ever tried to cobble together a podcast-style video, you probably know the pain points: audio mixers that don't talk to your webcam, video switches that lack decent preamps, and a tangle of USB cables that make your desk look like a crime scene. The RODECaster Videos is marketed as a compact console that merges those worlds. It gives you up to 4 1080p 60 video sources, which is more than enough for most YouTubers who rotate between a DSLR, a webcam, a phone, and maybe a screen capture. On the audio side, it packs Rode's Revolution preamps with up to 75 dB of clean gain, meaning you can plug in dynamic mics, condensers, or even a guitar and still get that studio quality signal without a separate interface. In practice, the workflow feels surprisingly straightforward. You plug your cameras into the HDMI inputs, connect the supplied mic packs to the XLR ports, and hit connect on the USB output to your computer. The console then appears as a single video source and a single audio source in OBS or Streamlabs, which cuts down on the audio out-of-sync headaches that plague many hybrid setups. I ran a test interview with a colleague, using 2 cameras, one on a tripod, one handheld for different angles, and a Rode Entus BU Mini in the mic pack for crisp voice capture. Switching between the camera feeds was a single button press, and the audio stayed perfectly level thanks to the onboard compressor that Rode built into the console. For someone who wants to press record and walk away, that kind of reliability is a real time saver. Now, no device is perfect, and the Videos has a few trade-offs that matter once you move past the first few recordings. The biggest limitation is that it tops out at 1080p. If you're a creator who needs 4K for future-proofing or wants to repurpose footage for platforms that favor higher resolution, you'll hit a wall. The console also doesn't store multitrack recordings internally. You're dependent on your computer's storage and software to capture separate audio tracks. That's fine if you're comfortable editing in post, but if you expected the unit to act as a standalone recorder, you'll need to adjust expectations. Another practical hiccup is the learning curve around the on-screen menu. It's not a touchscreen, and navigating through the various video source assignments and audio routing options takes a few minutes of trial and error. Once you've memorized the layout, it's smooth, but the initial setup can feel a bit intimidating for absolute beginners. Who should actually consider buying the RODECaster Videos? If you're a solo creator who wants to upgrade from a webcamic combo to a more professional look without buying a separate mixer and switcher, this is a strong candidate. It shines for interview-style videos, panel discussions, and live streams where you need a quick way to toggle between multiple cameras while keeping the audio clean. Educators who stream lessons with a camera on a whiteboard and another on a document camera will also appreciate the 4-input limit, which covers most classroom setups. The included mic packs add value. You get 2 XL-ready mics right out of the box, which is a nice boost if you're just starting out. On the flip side, you might want to skip this console if you already own a high-end audio interface and a dedicated video switcher, especially if those pieces support 4K or have built-in multitrack recording. Professionals who need granular control over each audio channel in post-production may find the single-track output limiting. Likewise, gamers who stream at 1440p or 4K will quickly discover the resolution ceiling and might be better served by a capture card that matches their monitor's native output. Finally, if you're on a very tight budget, the included mic packs are great, but you could still build a comparable setup with cheaper individual components if you're willing to manage more cables and software routing yourself. Overall, the RODECaster videos